Ever since the assassination of Charlie Kirk took place on September 10th, over 2 weeks ago at this point, let that sink in for a moment there, it was over 2 weeks ago that this terrible act happened on September 10th. But also, ever since then, we have seen a ton of cancellations, firings, and those getting let go from their jobs by saying downright offensive, awful things about Charlie Kirk, his family, and even his loved ones out there. And it just goes to show you exactly what's going on in the country right now. Now, one thing is for certain is that in isolation, everything related to the Jimmy Kimmel situation after he was canceled and then briefly brought back after just 4 days of being suspended, quote-unquote, on ABC, and how he was actually given his show back by Disney. We have seen tons of reactions out there, either different reactions coming from the general public or different reactions coming from various celebrities out there or those in the media. It has been a complete ugly mess at this point of what ABC has been doing. The fact that they canceled Kimmel and then brought him back. Honestly, I will make this very clear. I was never a fan of Jimmy Kimmel, never was and never will be. I'm just not really into this guy or this comedian. But one thing about Jimmy Kimmel is for certain is that he is absolutely refusing to really just give out an actual full-fledged apology that involves the words, "I'm sorry." This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Kimmel right now is that there is no doubt about it that he is getting very defensive against the general public, against various celebrities out there that are calling him out for what he did by making those Charlie Kirk related comments just over 5 days ago. Maybe more than that at this point. But what's interesting here has a lot more to do with Kimmel and exactly what he had to actually deliver when it comes to his overall stance on what happened behind the scenes between himself and Disney and everything else that happened in between the whole Charlie Kirk situation. Now, ever since Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air after his infamous Charlie Kirk related comment on ABC and how it was made so soon after the Charlie Kirk assassination, one major development going on now involves more to do with Jimmy Kimmel opening up again about his Charlie Kirk related comment that he did on his recent episode. Kimmel recently delivered the following by admitting the truth of what went down. "There is something I have to say," he says, "that I haven't really said yet about what I went through after the loud noise that I had to put up with for the last couple of days while I was off the air. It was very tough for me to handle, to be honest. It was tough for my family and to those very close to me when they heard I was pushed off the air over my comments related to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. When I was negotiating with Disney, and they are a great company, I must say, I wanted to find a middle ground on how I could put Kirk's family and loved ones at ease after my comments were made. But at the same time, I didn't feel it was necessary or fair to apologize to the MAGA crowd and to even Trump himself that I obviously offended, which, by the way, my apology was about finding the middle ground. I in no way, shape, or form ever wanted to apologize to MAGA or Trump supporters because what they did to me was shameful. And I explained this to Disney. I explained this to Mr. Iger, the great man who runs Disney, and it was hard work, I'm not going to lie about that. It took days of convincing them that I only wanted to deliver an apology that would serve as a middle ground. I didn't really want to use the word sorry to MAGA. What they did to me by violating my freedom of speech and their efforts to silencing me, I refused to actually do that, and Disney didn't really want to do that in the beginning, to say the word "I'm sorry." But I had to make it clear also that what I said was not my intention at all to offend the Kirk family. Is that so hard to understand? It seems Trump supporters just won't let it go. I felt if I said the word sorry, MAGA would feel that they would have this sort of power over me, you know? And I explained this to Disney. I didn't want to give that into that. I wanted to actually word my apology my own way, and I will be honest, they weren't really agreeing with that approach in the beginning. It took lots of convincing to Mr. Iger and to those running the show over at ABC, and those close to me on the show to also side with me and to back me up. That this was the only way that we were going to do this on television in front of millions of people watching this thing. And I'm hoping that one day everyone understands where I'm coming from by not giving in to the MAGA crowd. They don't deserve my forgiveness after what they did, but what's great about this in the end is that it made me stronger. It made my ratings better than ever before. And to those claiming it will just drop off, I guess that's just what the younger crowd calls coping these days, am I right? So guys, let me just say one thing about Jimmy Kimmel again here. The fact that he is openly making it clear that it was very tough to convince Disney to exclude the word I am, or the words I am sorry, when he actually was delivering that monologue about Charlie Kirk's comments, about the comments that he made related to Charlie Kirk, goes to show you exactly how narcissistic Jimmy Kimmel really is. The fact that he refused to say the words I am sorry, because he felt that by delivering that, it would be giving into the MAGA crowd, quote unquote, or believing that it would actually give them a power over him, is just insane. If anything, I think it would have made things better if he said I'm sorry, or said anything around those lines. It would have made the whole monologue better. So I don't know where Jimmy Kimmel's coming from by really believing that by saying I'm sorry, it's giving in to the MAGA crowd, or it's giving them any kind of a power, is delusional. It's delusional coming from Jimmy Kimmel. And this is exactly what I mean by how Jimmy Kimmel always will be political on his program. It's always about dragging in politics, dragging in any kind of political narrative against Trump supporters, Trump himself, the whole MAGA movement, Republicans, etc., etc. That's just how it's going to be, and that's how it always will be as long as he remains on ABC, right? That's basically his whole shtick, and it's going to stay like that. And so I think it's really delusional. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I think it's delusional for him to say that by delivering the words I am sorry, and how that translates to giving the MAGA crowd power, is ridiculous. I mean, it really is just ridiculous. Because the apology that he gave on national television, let's be very real about this, it really wasn't a full-on apology. He really did beat around the bush a little bit there. He really did try to cut corners and scramble upon his words of doing that. But again, like I've said before in the past, Disney is gonna Disney. We all knew that this was gonna come, that Jimmy Kimmel was not gonna stay off the air. He was not officially canceled per se. He was not gonna stay off the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. We all knew pretty much in the end that he was gonna come back in some way, shape, or form. It's Disney after all. So I think at the end of the day as well, when you're looking at people like Jimmy Kimmel and how he's really just openly admitting the truth here about what actually went down between himself and Disney, it just goes to show you exactly what's going on between him, Bob Iger, ABC executives, and more. Now, look, we know that Jimmy Kimmel is going to endlessly defend himself, no matter what. He's going to endlessly defend, whatever he has to defend for, and we all know that Jimmy Kimmel is going to just keep doing the whole same shtick about attacking Trump supporters, MAGA, making jokes about them. It's very tiresome and exhausting to the point that that's exactly why his ratings have been going down month by month, literally. So I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments. Everything related to the whole return of Jimmy Kimmel to ABC and the Walt Disney Company. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.